Imagine a full-scale war. Two nations, thousands of soldiers, heavy artillery, and naval warships. Now, imagine that entire war starting and ending in less time than it takes to watch a single episode of a sitcom. On August 27, 1896, the British Empire declared war on the Sultanate of Zanzibar. By the time the morning coffee was cold, the war was over. This is the story of the Anglo-Zanzibar War, the shortest recorded conflict in human history. It lasted exactly 38 minutes. But don't let the short runtime fool you. In those 38 minutes, a palace was leveled, a navy was sunk, and over 500 people were killed or wounded. It was a brutal display of imperial power that changed the fate of an entire region forever. But how did a disagreement over a throne turn into a lightning-fast massacre? And why did the Sultan believe he could actually win? By the end of this video, you'll see how a single ultimatum and a 9 a.m. deadline led to a war that was over before most people even knew it had begun. The trouble began on August 25, 1896, with a sudden and suspicious death. Sultan Hamad bin Thawani, a man who had cooperated closely with the British, died unexpectedly in his palace. Rumors of poisoning immediately began to swirl. But before an investigation could even begin, his nephew, Khalid bin Bargash, seized the palace and declared himself the new sultan. There was just one problem. Under an 1886 treaty, any new sultan had to be approved by the British consul. Khalid didn't ask for permission. He simply moved in, surrounded the palace with nearly 3,000 soldiers, and dared the British to do something about it. The British were not amused. They preferred a different candidate, a man named Hamad bin Muhammad, who they knew would be easier to control. They issued a stern warning to Khalid: step down by 9 a.m. on August 27th, or face the consequences. But what happened next shocked everyone. Instead of fleeing, Khalid barricaded the palace doors and prepared for a siege. He believed the British were bluffing. He was wrong that as the sun rose on August 27th, 5 British warships, the HMS Philomel, Rush, St. George, Sparrow, and Thrush, were already positioned in the harbor. Their massive guns pointed directly at the Sultan's wooden palace. On the shore, Khalid's forces were confident. They had nearly 3,000 men, several artillery pieces, and even the Sultan's personal yacht, the HHS Glasgow, armed and ready in the water at 8 a.m. Khalid sent a final message to the British consul: "We have no intention of hauling down our flag, and we do not believe you would open fire on us." The British reply was short and chilling: "We do not want to open fire, but unless you do as you are told, we shall certainly do so." Why did this decision change everything? Because Khalid was betting his life on the idea that the British wouldn't risk a public scandal by attacking a palace. He didn't realize that for the British Empire at its peak, this wasn't a scandal, it was a message. As the clock ticked toward 9 a.m., the British sailors stood by their cannons, waiting for the signal that at exactly 9 a.m., the order was given. At 9:02 a.m., the British ships opened fire. The first shells tore through the wooden walls of the palace like they were made of paper. Within minutes, the palace was a towering inferno. Khalid's artillery on the shore was silenced almost instantly by the superior range of the naval guns. In the harbor, the Sultan's yacht, the HHS Glasgow, tried to return fire with its outdated cannons. It was a suicide mission. The British ships turned their guns on the yacht and sank it in minutes. The Zanzibari soldiers and civilians inside the palace were trapped between the flames and the relentless bombardment. What the British did next was unbelievable. They didn't just stop when the palace was on fire. They continued the shelling until the Sultan's flag was finally shot down from the palace roof. At 9:40 a.m., the firing ceased. The war was over. In just 38 minutes, the British had fired 500 shells, 4,100 machine gun rounds, and 1,000 rifle rounds. The palace was a ruin, and the Sultan's army had vanished. When the smoke cleared, the scale of the one-sided slaughter became apparent. Over 500 Zanzibaris were dead or wounded. On the British side, only one sailor was slightly injured. Khalid bin Bargash, the man who had started it all, had managed to slip out of the back of the palace during the chaos and flee to the German consulate. But the British weren't finished with their display of dominance. After installing their puppet sultan, Hamad, they did something that sounds like a dark joke. they sent the Zanzibar government a bill. They demanded that the Zanzibaris pay for the cost of the shells and ammunition used to destroy their own palace and kill their own people. This war wasn't just about a throne. It was the final nail in the coffin for Zanzibar's independence. From that day forward, the Sultanate became a British protectorate, and no sultan would ever again dare to challenge the British Empire. The most shocking part of this story isn't just the length of the war, but the sheer efficiency of the destruction. In the time it takes for a modern commuter to get to work, an entire government was overthrown, a city's defenses were annihilated, and a nation's sovereignty was signed away. Khalid bin Bargash spent the rest of his life as a fugitive and an exile, eventually dying in Mombasa, never again seeing the palace he tried to claim. The Anglo-Zanzibar War remains a bizarre footnote in history books, a war that lasted less than an hour. But it serves as a haunting reminder of the era of gunboat diplomacy, where the fate of nations was decided by the range of a naval cannon and the ticking of a clock. It's a story of ego, miscalculation, and the terrifying speed of modern warfare. If you enjoyed this story of the shortest war in history, subscribe for more documentaries like this. What do you think was the biggest mistake Sultan Khalid made? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching.